Hello and welcome to this Unifield tutorial video where we will be discussing the electronic stock card function in Unifield. In Bangladesh, the decision was taken by the supply co that the electronic Unifield stock card will replace the physical stock card currently being used to manage the stocks in Ukiah and in Cox's Bazar. So to support that decision, I want to demonstrate how to find and use the stock card in Unifield. It's a fairly simple task, so we'll go through it in the next few minutes. So to find the stock card, the first thing you need to do is go to the warehouse application. And then on the left-hand side in the modules, go to traceability. And finally, choose stock card. And this is going to open a pop-up window which allows you to configure the criteria for the specific stock card you're interested in viewing. So there are two ways to use the stock card. One way is to use the stock card to track the movements of items in a specific stock location. And this should be a duplicate of what you were doing on the physical stock card before Unifield. So I'm going to demonstrate this option first, and then after we'll talk about the second option of how to use the stock card to just have an overview of all movements of a specific item in and out of your database, not specifically linked to a stock location. So for the first example, we're going to use the med stock location in the Ukiah database, and we're going to, as our example product, use paracetamol 500 milligrams, so the Dora-Para 5T. So the first option you'll notice is there's two fields that are blue, and you know that that indicates that these fields are mandatory. So, as I know that I keep my medical items in Ukiah in the med stock, I will indicate med as the location, and I will not tick this box, the show all in and out. That, if I select, will not show me just med stock, but it will show me all movements for the item in any location. And that's going to be more relevant to the global view of items. And that will be our second example. So for now, I leave this empty as I only want to see movements in and out of the med stock. And I come to the product and I indicate the product that I am interested in, which in this case, as I said, is the Dora-Paracetamol. And you'll notice that for any item that is batch managed, it requires you on the stock card to indicate a specific batch. It is not possible to see more than one batch on a stock card. So I will open the looking glass, and it will show me all the batches that are available for this item, whether I have them currently in stock or not. So these are all the batches that have passed through your database for Dora-Para 5T, the paracetamol 500 milligrams. So I will choose the first batch ending in 408. And the next choice I have to fill in is which date range I want to see the movements for. Do I want to see the movements for a specific month, for a specific week, or I can leave the from date blank and it will show me all the movements for this item and this batch from the beginning of Unifield's use in Bangladesh until the current date, March 26th. So for this example, I'll choose this criteria. To see the card, you come down once you have made your choices and click Show Card. It'll open up a new window with just the stock card information that you configured. So here we chose med stock, we chose this product, this specific batch, and that batch comes with the expiry date of September 30th, 2022. And it shows us that currently we have zero quantity of this batch in stock, and it indicates that we are looking at all movements for this item in the history since we've started using Unifield in the mission until today's date, March 26th. And then it shows you the moves. And this is going to be, each move will have its own line item. So on March 10th, in this example, you can see that the medical stock inventory was migrated to Unifield. And for this batch, the initial quantity was 8,000, quantity N. And then afterwards, we had two movements, a pick supported by origin document 32, IR 32, for 7,000. And these were going out to JMS PHC Camp 15. So you can see that the header information indicates which type of data you see below. In this case, you can see the document reference number that the move was used on, so the pick. You can see the document that supported it, so the IR, and you can see the final destination that these goods went to. In this case, JMS PHC Camp 15. And it tells you the quantity for the move, 7,000, and the balance, that leaves 1,000 in stock. And even though this is the final destination, Unifield also indicates the next destination. And in this case, we know that a picking goes to the next step of packing, and then ultimately the final step of shipping before it gets to the final destination. And then you see the next line item, pick number 9, created from IR 48, again to the same client for 1,000, leaving a balance of 0, and these items also went to the next step of packing. So that is how you can use the stock card to show you all the movements in and out of a specific location, in this case MedStock, for a specific item, a specific batch. So on the right, you will notice you have some options to print this information. You have a PDF and an Excel export. If I click on the PDF, it opens up a new window and shows the stock card, and all of the information that we looked at inside Unifield is now available on a PDF form that you can email, print, use as needed. You also have the option to export this data to Excel. And that would be the second choice here, stock card Excel export. If I click on this, it downloads the file. And then as it opens in Excel, you have this information displayed here. So it's the same information, and then whichever format is more appropriate for your needs, Excel or PDF, you have both options to extract this data to support your needs. So that is how you can use the stock card to view all the movements of an item, specific batch, in and out of a specific location. And as I said at the beginning of this video, this is going to replace the physical stock cards that were being used in the mission. So there's not a need to duplicate the encoding on the physical stock card now that you have the Unifield stock card to support that feature. So at the beginning, I mentioned there was two options of how to use the stock card. The second option is if you want to have the global view of all items that moved in and out of your Unifield database, or all movements for a specific item. So to find that information, we're going to think about an example of a log item. And to do that, we still start with the same function. You go to warehouse, then you go to traceability, and you go to stock card. And this time, instead of picking a specific location, because I want the global view, I click on show all ins and outs. And you'll notice that this field now is grayed out and not allowed to choose a specific location. For this example, we will choose a log code, printing service. We'll also not choose a from date. We'll ask to see every movement from the beginning of Unifield until today's date. and then again, click on Show Card. And here you have it. It opens up in a new window, and it shows you the code you chose, the item, the current balance, 0, and the date range of the movements you're looking at. All movements until today. And then down in the moves section, it has line by line each move for these items. And you can see that the first move is an incoming shipment for this PO, supported by this IR. And it's coming from Fahim Enterprise quantity 1. So you have the balance of 1. We know that this item was not stock managed and went out to cross-docking directly to the client on out number 22, IR 39, to the camp 15, quantity out 1, balance 0. You'll see the same thing happened on N25, supported by PO 32, IR 38. We had our incoming shipment of 301,000, again from Fahim Enterprise, and then these items were sent to cross-docking and were delivered to the JMS Camp 15 as well on out 27, leaving a balance of 0. So when you don't indicate a location, it'll give you the global view of the items, of the moves for the specific item, and the running balance, the quantity in, the quantity out, and the balance. So that's the two different ways you can use the stock card. For the items that you're managing in stock, you'll need to indicate a specific stock location and the product and sometimes the batch for the item to have the... Now you may have noticed on the other side, on the action menu, we looked at the print for the PDF stock card, the print for the Excel export, and there's an additional option for product labels. Now you can print the product label from this location. However, it may not always be the most appropriate for how we label products in our warehouses. Here you see, because this is a log item, it has the code and the description. However, if it was a medical item, it would include the batch number and the expiry date. And you can see the difference between the two stock cards, between the log type stock card, an item not managed by batch number and expiry date, and a medical item that is managed by batch number and expiry date. The difference is here. Now the way that we often label items in our warehouse does not include the batch number and expiry date. So if you need a label that is just the product code and the product description, there's another way to print this label. To find that label, you would go to the products homepage and type in the code that you're looking for. In this case, it'll be DoraPara 5T. And once you've found the item that you need the label for, you can click on it to open the database page, and you see the option to print the product labels in the right-hand side on the action menu. If I open that one, you'll see the difference here is that it has the product code, the product description, but it does not include a specific batch and expiry date. So this might be more appropriate for the label you want to print and stick on the shelves, the racks in the warehouse. You can see it comes with 1, 2, 3 labels per page, and based on your local printer configurations, you can print this on a smaller paper or sticker paper that you can then peel off and stick onto the shelves. And just to compare, this was the label printed from the stock card function in the warehouse, batch number, expiry date, and this is the label printed from the products page, just the description and just the code. So you have the choice, whichever one suits your needs better. You have two different options for product labels, however, whichever one is better for your needs. So that was today's lesson regarding the stock card, the electronic stock card in Unifield. This information is also supported in the user manual, and if you wanted to find that, you would go to your manual library that you have, and you go to folder number 2, Unifield Manual. And then if you go to chapter 5, Warehouse, because that's the function we were in, the application, you would open this, and if I use Control F, and I say search for stock card, it takes me to stock cards. And I can see that that information, more details of what this video explains, is on page 194. So I simply type 194, enter. And I can see that stock cards is here, page 194 and below. So that's a good way that you can link the user manual to support and find more detailed information about the different tasks that we're discussing in these videos. And as always, if you have any other questions about this task or any other task, please feel free to email me, and we can arrange to have a video discussion or remote support. All right, thanks. And